It's so nice to have so many of you here, and thank you to the parents that brought Kate, and I don't know who else brought the food and the coffee, which we're enjoying. And then welcome to those of you online. We try to do a live stream, so those of you that are at work or at home and can't leave can also find out any information you need to find out. So welcome everyone. We've had just once again a phenomenal first week of school, going into our second week of our second year of school. So very excited. Our teachers, our new teachers are really excited to be here and planning a lot of great things. To be here, and we're doing a lot of different things with the students that I'll be putting in the newsletter that hopefully you're all getting. Hopefully you're all signed up on My School Anywhere with the correct email address so that we can make sure we give you every Sunday night the newsletter. There's a group that's working really hard to make sure that it comes out on time, and I want to thank them for having that newsletter. It's just great to be able to communicate weekly with parents with upcoming dates and things that are going on. And on that topic, I would say save the date of September 6th, which is our first back to school night. That will be a time that you'll be meeting with your advisory, and then you'll go through the child's schedule. So about 10 minutes in each class, so the teacher can tell you about what they're planning this year, what they've done already, and what you can expect. It's not really a time to have a parent conference. On the website are all the email addresses for the teachers. They're really good at answering emails. So if you have a question about anything that's going on in your daughter's class, please feel free to email them. If you don't get a response within about a week, let me know, and I will talk to them, make sure that they get it back. Most of them are literally get it back in 24 to 48 hours. So I'm the same. So if you have a question about big issues at the school, please email me. Just a note, I know there's a Friends at Facebook page. I know that there are a lot of things posted there, and that is really just for a community. If you have questions about policies at the school or questions about times that are things are happening at the school, please call or email us here at the school, because oftentimes I'm hearing that there are like just rumors flying back and forth about things like what time was school start on Monday, and a lot of that's on the website, but you know, you can always call me or email me and I'll turn my radio off for now. Couple things I wanted, another date to remember, it's September, we just changed it. September 26th now is our parent conferences. We'll start after school from about 3:30 to 5:30, and those are again, they're short snippets of time that you have with each teacher. I know it's a big adjustment from those of you who are going from elementary to middle, because you have between 5 and 7 teachers depending on your child's schedule. So you don't have time to do those hour-long conferences or half-an-hour conferences. It's literally like 5 minutes. So if your child is having a problem in anyone's class, my suggestion is that's not really the time to just have a long discussion. If you want to have a short check-in, that's the best thing to do there. But otherwise, you know, if you have an issue, please talk to them, call them, email them. They all have office hours. We're going to be publicizing those pretty soon for the kids to come in and get extra help. And we did change the date. Sorry about the conflict for the holiday, Jewish holiday that we had on the other date. Then I also wanted to just encourage all of you, if you have not yet, please apply for More Than a Meal campaign. The meal application is important for many different reasons, one of which is if everyone applies, we get money, like we literally get a check. So I was at the principal's meeting at the beginning of the school year. Our school had 2 students that didn't turn in their application, and we lost $2,000. We could have got, if we had everybody, we would have had $2,000 just to spend on anything we wanted at the school. So, you know, we're losing out on that money, but then also More Than a Meal campaign helps families that need to have assistance with their meals. And it also allows us to have PSAT, the test, the preliminary scholastic aptitude test that all of our 9th graders and 10th graders will take. It allows us to have fee waivers, meaning we don't have to pay for some of them as a school. And it also allows those students that qualify to also have SAT, AP, and waivers, so they don't have to pay those fees to the schools when they're applying. So it's really, really important that we get that and get everyone to participate. Couple of changes this year for those of you that are returning. You know, we've always said there's no cell phone use the entire school day. In a lot of our classrooms, we have pockets that the girls put their cell phone in, and they are not to be using it during the class unless the teacher has some kind of instructional thing they're doing with the cell phones, which sometimes they do. And also during our breaks, the only time they can use the cell phone is after school, so you can contact them if you're waiting for them or they're in the line and you're saying, I'm up on Olympic in this long line, I'll be there in a few minutes. Once they go to Beyond the Bell, which happens at 3, we close our gates at 3:35, sorry. Happens, all the girls that are still left go to Beyond the Bell, and then they can no longer use their cell phone. You need to come in our security gate, be let in, and come physically pick them up. Security. We don't want anyone, especially 6th or 7th grade girls, hanging out in front of our school waiting for parents to pick them up. So it's just a security procedure to make sure they're all safe. Also, again, if you're late and they don't have a cell phone, you can call us in the main office. Someone is there until 6 p.m., usually me. So I will answer the phone and let them know if there's an issue. Uniforms, again, we're being very, very strict this year. So I know some of the girls, especially in the upper grades, they're coming back. We are being very strict about the uniform, and please help your daughter to make sure their uniform is clean and they're ready for school each day. I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit for new and old parents, some of the demographic changes, not demographic, but just changes that have happened in our school and things I want to applaud for our teachers. Our teachers work extremely hard with standards-based grading. So they actually fit the grade to the standards. And I gotta tell you, it works because our test scores are just phenomenal this year. The 6th grade test scores from last year that are coming out, I can't say they're permanent yet, so I can't publicize them until August 29th when the state comes out with them. But right now, my glasses so I can read these. Right now, our preliminary English language arts scores are 81% met or exceeded the standards. LAUSD right now is 38%. So it's pretty phenomenal. Our preliminary math scores, 55% met or exceeded the standards, and 29% were close to meeting. And for LAUSD, it's 30%. Again, quite a big gap. So, and that's, I have to say, it's the hard work of our teachers because we don't look at test scores, we don't look at grades. Our teachers just work with whoever they have in their class. So it's not like we're a gifted magnet or something like that. They work extremely hard, and the girls work extremely hard. And with our growth mindset, we really kind of let the girls know, you might not get it the first 5 weeks, but you'll get it by the 20 week. I also wanted to just, for the high school, 89% of our girls are on track for graduation. LAUSD, it's 56%. For me, that's not good enough. I want us to be 100%. But with we have a couple of girls that didn't pass classes, and we're giving them credit recovery. So I expect by this time next year we'll be up to 100%. And 79% are on track for UC admissions, and that's with LAUSD, it's 40%. That's pretty amazing. So we're really happy about all our scores. And then I just want to tell you just briefly about our enrollment. So last year we had girls from 49 schools and 59 zip codes. This year we have girls from 112 schools and 79 zip codes. I didn't even know there are that many zip codes in LA. It's crazy. Last year, over half of our girls in 9th grade chose to have AP Biology, which is an advanced placement college level class in 9th grade. Again, this year, over half our girls are in AP Bio. And then for our 10th grade, over half are in AP Chemistry, AP World History, and all of them are in AP Computer Science. So I'm very happy about that. Those are the courses, particularly AP Computers and AP Chemistry, that typically in our world, girls don't take, and particularly girls of color don't take. So we're just couldn't be more pleased that all of the girls have chosen to take AP Computer Science. So those are successes, and I expect to have more and more as we go along. Remember, we only had our first year last year, so I couldn't be more pleased with what's happened. And you know, there's the whole other part of our school is the social emotional learning that goes on. This morning, I saw something that just shows me that we've been building this big sister, little sister program where the 9th graders kind of take on the 6th graders. We built it. It was a really hard build last year because that's all we had was 9th to 6th. So it's kind of interesting to build that. So today I saw a 6th grader that was a little bit upset. You know, she's coming to school. It's only her 2nd week. She's a little bit nervous. And naturally, I saw 2 9th graders go give her a hug and say, "What's going on? We're here to help you. Do you need to be walked to class?" It was amazing to me. I just felt like, wow, we've really built something incredible with our girls, that they really care about each other and they notice when someone's upset. Instead of walking by, they go up and take care of them. So that just blew me away this morning. So that's another thing that we're going to continue to work on, is this big sister, little sister. So the 9th and the 6th will be partnered as they move up through our system. And again, it's pretty phenomenal, particularly if you look at middle school. Oh, that doesn't normally happen, unfortunately. One other thing I wanted to mention is new for our, particularly our middle school, new 6th grade girls. So we must do mandatory wanding every single day. Wanding, I forgot to bring it up with me, but it's just like a little wand that is a metal detector. So legally, every single day, I have to choose one classroom, randomly pick girls to wand. And with the 6th grade, I am going to go in and explain it and show it on me with my keys, so it won't be quite so frightening. It's basically just putting something like this and like this around your body. And it's not a huge deal, but for them, it's kind of scary. So I want to make it kind of a light, fun thing. Last year, what happened is the girls were volunteering. I would walk in the class like, "Oh, wand me, wand me." So that's kind of the way we're making it. Again, it's just for security purposes for our school, for any school that we need to do that. It's a legal requirement. So, you know, chances are, if your daughter comes home and says, "I was wanded today," it's probably, you'll know what it is. It's basically checking for a metal. And we've not found anything. We don't expect to find anything. We also do random locker checks, which again, don't expect to find anything, have never found anything. It's just part of the policy that we need to do in the state of California. It's not just district policy, it's state of California policy. So just want to make you a little aware of that. That's going to start happening probably another week. Let's see if I have anything else that I want to tell you. I think that's it. So I can take some questions if people have questions for me.
Been having a really hard time getting, like, the homework isn't posted on Schoology, and I tried to do the passport thing, and then I keep telling me the email's wrong, and then I don't understand how that works. And then I called the help desk, and they said it's been really busy, give it 24 hours, and I did. It's still not working. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing when the homework is getting posted.
So we're really trying to make the girls responsible for their homework. We have given them all a planner that we pay for as a school.
Amazing, an amazing.
And we're working an advisory for them to make sure they're writing down. I had a call this morning. Is it an A day or a B day? And I said, look in the planner. Has your daughter written that down? Because we're trying to move away from parents being responsible. I know it's hard from 5th to 6th grade, but we're really trying to move away from that and put the responsibility on the child, because as they move forward, they're going to, like, for instance, some of our 10th graders have 3 APs. That's a lot to keep track of. And some of them are also on our, I forgot to mention, our very first CIF sports tryouts for this week for tennis. So we have now a team of 20 girls that are going to be competing. And that's cutting. That's cutting some girls. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing. We're very excited about that. But they're juggling sports. They're juggling, you know, their 3 APs, and they have to eventually learn how to do that. I know that for 6th grade, at least, our math teacher sends out a weekly bulletin about homework. Our 7th grade math teacher is going to put a link on the website for you to go to for her math homework. So the teachers are still putting together their way that they're going to do things. I know our 6th grade science also does it's a bi-monthly news email. So it's really important that we have the correct email. So if you were signing in today, make sure your email is listed. And if you're online, send us an email if it's changed, or My School Anywhere, we have the emails. So if that's what I can tell you for now. I know there's problems with Passport and Schoology. Again, it's a new system for the district to have Passport. I think it's going to be great once it's completely, all the bugs are out, because every single thing you need to do will be in one place instead of having to go to 15 different spaces. So, and Schoology should be up for most classes right now.
Okay, I wanted to make sure Schoology is the children's email instead of the parents' email that they set up with the school.
I believe it's it's the student's ID, but you put in your own email.
How do you get a student ID?
We can give it to you in the office, or it should be, I believe it might be on their, it's on their, it might be on their ID. If you're coming from outside of the district, they now have a student ID, and it should be either on their, it could be on their ID that they just got yesterday.
Yeah, it's on their ID.
Okay.
It'll start with their birthday.
His birthday, and then F for female, and then a number.
And then 3 numbers. Okay, but we can get it in the office.
You can also get it in the office if you need it. We can definitely give it to you. So on your way down today,
But it's printed on their ID.
it's printed on their ID, and they got IDs yesterday. I can't believe how quick our photo company was. We did photos on Friday, and we got IDs yesterday. So if your child did not get one, they should have them in their advisory today. Other questions?
I have a question that comes into the category of transportation, and I'm a new 6th grade parent. So I think some of this might just be my own lack of understanding. I'm part of a carpool, and so I drive a certain number of days a week. In the mornings, we're finding to be really smooth, and I'm very grateful for the people that are volunteering already to help morning drop off and carpooling work. What our carpool is having some trouble with is the pickup, and we're not sure if this is just like beginning of the year unsettledness, is this the twice as many girls plus LAI letting out on less. But we're finding that what functions in the morning as drop off doesn't operate the same way as pickup. And I'll say that, our carpool will eventually figure out ways to also volunteer with the carpool in the morning and the afternoon. Still trying to work that out. But I'm just wondering, what's happening, what's kind of the bigger vision on West in terms of our school getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and having so many multiple dozens, maybe hundreds of carpools? I'm kind of wondering, big picture transportation, what's LAUSD going to do about this? And small picture, how is afternoon pickup supposed to work? Is it supposed to be you swoop up in your car, the girls get in, you open the door, or is it really we have to park and walk up? Can you give us some clarification?
The people online are asking if we repeat the question because they can't hear the
Okay.
question.
So the question was about drop off and pickup. There's a carpool that has a really easy time with drop off. We have volunteers out there, they help out. And then pickup is a little bit harder for them to do because it just seems like there's a lot, there are people parked. And and then the question also is about long term. Long term, I'm not worried about right now. It is something that we can work on. And all the parking stuff has really been parent volunteers. We don't have enough people at this school to have personnel out there. I am at the middle school gate, and usually our coordinator and our counselor are up at the high school gate. This is new this year too. So last year everybody went out the one gate, and so this year we decided to have the middle school farther down and the high school up farther so that we'd have separate separate pickups. The drop-offs in the morning, people are coming out from early as 7:30 to right before school starts. So that's why it's spread out. In the afternoon, we basically don't have any volunteers right now. Occasionally someone volunteers, so we could definitely use volunteers. That is not something I organize, so it would be something through Fogala. But if you want to head that committee up, that would be great, because we do need volunteers in the afternoon to make it go more smoothly. People are not supposed to be parked on West. So it's drop off and pick up at certain times of the day, one time being 3:15. So people are getting tickets if they are parked there. They are just supposed to pick up and go. Double parking, again, not supposed to be happening. And again, there's only so many of us. We do have school police that does come by about 3 times during the time period. They did give tickets the first couple of days. But it's really a school issue. It's kind of a good issue to have, because that means we're growing when many schools in LA Unified are not. So it's kind of, a good problem to have. But I am open to any solution anybody can come up with, because I know it's an issue. And I know it's an issue for not just your family, but other families. And this was the best we could come up with this year. Was we had 2 separate, one high school, one middle school. LA High does get out at a little bit earlier than we do at 3. So there is some residual LA High picking up going on as well. So it's a little bit difficult. Next year, I hope we'll be able to go back to the 3:30 ending of the day. Depending on LA High's schedule. We're co-located schools, so we're dependent on what they do to change our schedule, which is what happened this year.
I just wanted to add, it's not entirely a matter of just convenience. My bigger picture thing is safety. Sometimes
definitely.
I worry for the kids' safety in the afternoon, because sometimes the people going down West, whether they're related to the schools here or not, seem very impatient, and it makes me as a parent nervous to watch all of our kids trying to navigate and cars and off the West. So that's sort of my.
So the question for the live streamer, the comment was that she's more concerned. She's concerned also about the safety of the students, which we are too, which is why we're, really asking for volunteers in the afternoon, because I can only be so many places at that one gate. So sometimes I'm down on the ground, sometimes I'm up with the girls. So any volunteer group that we could get together for the afternoon would be just amazing for us.
So maybe to bring it up for Friends of God.
Sorry. Now you know what our bells sound like.
But for picking up the girls after school, I was talking to another parent. One idea would be to have walkie-talkies where you can have, maybe 5 parents sign up, or maybe put it on their dashboard, the child they're picking up, and then, somebody saying so-and-so and so-and-so it's here, and then you would say the girls would come out, and they would maybe, I don't know.
I put out a sign up Genius for 2 weeks of the carpool lane, and we got hardly anybody, except the 2 wonderful moms that were there this morning. So it is a parent-run situation. If somebody can take it on, because if somebody has ideas and can make this happen, we're open. But it needs to be parent volunteers out there. I know a lot of people work, so can't come.
Okay, so the question was, is there another way to, sorry, skipping this for the live stream that might not be able to hear, is there another way to do things where you might have someone's, their name on the car and walkie-talkie system with the girls? And the answer was that we need more volunteers to get anything together. I would just again mention to you, this is middle school and high school. That kind of pickup is very typical for elementary, but by the time the girls are in middle school and high school, that doesn't typically happen. And typically you don't even have people at the gates, they just go. So what we do is we do have people at the gates. We are monitoring who's picking up whom. We're giving the girls the responsibility that they know that what their carpool is, and what their, who their parents are, and who they're getting in the car with. And then high school, typically many of our girls take the bus, and then even some of our middle schoolers are taking the bus, public transportation. So there's many, like I said, they're coming from 112 different schools. Some might be walking home, riding a bike home. It's much more difficult to manage than a small elementary school with 200 to 300 kids, where all the families, all the kids. This is middle school and high school with 360 right now, I think, 350 girls and families. And again, we're trying to build that responsibility with our girls, that they are responsible for themselves. I know it's a hard transition for parents as well as students from 5th to 6th grade. So as any way that we can work with you to make you more comfortable or make them more comfortable, we're happy to. But again, the whole pickup parking situation, that's all a parent run, as Susan was saying, a parent run enterprise. We don't have the personnel to have 10 people out there dealing with that. So it's also not an LAUSD responsibility. It is really parents and the school. We try to do as much as we can. So I know it was mentioned, what is LAUSD going to do about it? It's actually what we as a school community can figure out to help our children with that.
So does everything kind of die down around 3:35? So one option might be that you let your
Absolutely.
children or your carpool know in advance, hey, I'm coming a little later. It's a little inconvenient that you have to get out of the car to sign them out, but then you're not juggling all those people.
Really, even by 3:30, it's pretty calm. So if you want to wait, if you can stagger it a little bit and wait a little bit, that can help. Okay.
My daughter is in middle school and she catches the bus, and she's having to fight with the LA High kids to get on the bus. Sometimes it's too full. Is there a way that she can go through the high school gate so that she can get to the bus faster? It's her and 3 other girls, and they're having to hightail it to get to the bus so that they don't have to be in the same cluster with all of the LA High kids.
Everybody has to go out either one of those 2 gates. The question was, could they go out the LA High School gate?
No, out of the junior high, can they go out of the high school gate from that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a possibility. Okay. If you can at the end of the meeting give me the names of those 3 girls, I'll let the high school gate know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have 2 questions from our carpool kids. And one, they're so enthusiastic about the library lounge. They love it. And they want to know about the hours because they would love to just go and sit and read a book. And they said there's often clubs who are using the space. Could you explain to us how the space is used?
So the library right now, we have 2 10th grade volunteers who are librarians. It's an honor system, so they just basically are writing on a clipboard. They're checking out they put their name, the advisory, the book that they're checking out, and when they come back, they cross it off and they reshelve. So it's an all volunteer student run situation. I think it's going to be open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is what I remember. We're just starting that. So I've been opening it up at lunch and just kind of monitoring as I monitor the outside and letting girls go in and read a book or take a book out. And now I think starting this week, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with the volunteer librarians. Yeah. But if any parent wants to help out at lunchtime, that's also something that we can look into as a volunteer opportunity. Especially if they're reshelving, because they're really great at crossing their name off and putting it on a table. Other questions?
Liz, I just wanted to, going back to the carpool thing, I think something we experienced last week, we were doing carpool on Thursday, was the carpool people who are doing multiple girls putting their backpacks in the back, and what that does is the parent gets out, helps them out, but then that's backing up traffic all the way. So if possible, I know sometimes they're big backpacks and they might not be able to sit with them at the floor on their lap, but if they can, that is preferable so that they can just all get out and not have to stop and get out and unload the traffic in the back. That helps just move the traffic along so much more quickly in the morning.
So the comment was, for those of you being live streamed, was that if they have big backpacks, that sometimes the parents were stopping and helping the girls put all the backpacks in the trunk, and that stops the traffic basically.
Or take them out in the morning.
So could they, or taking them out in the morning, so could they have them ready to go, or just kind of throw them in the car while they're in carpool lane? And there's lots of parking in the neighborhood as well, so you can park and come in and pick them up, or you could just park somewhere and rearrange your trunk. Other question?
Sorry, the second question from the kid from carpool was about headband policy. They put together a whole poll last year and stuff, and they said that they had understood that the policy would be changed, and they were hoping to see it reflected in the official school policy that they're allowed to wear.
Okay, so part of what they did it was very interesting. So I have to say I was really impressed and amazed by a couple of our 6th grade girls that put together a poll. They did a poll. They did statistics about everything related to headband policy. And actually, by the time it got to me, we had already made some changes. So we had already changed to the 1.5 inch, I guess, headband because we'd had some issues with bandanas coming in. We absolutely do not have bandanas for many, many different reasons, one of which is they can signify gang relation, and I know that we don't have any girls that are involved in that, but they're innocent enough that they don't know that, so we just have a no bandana policy. And then we have, they can do a 1.5 inch headband, like sports headband, purple, I think it's purple, gray, and black. They had mentioned that and we'd already changed it. So the one thing we haven't changed, and this is because the teacher's request is the decorative, it's the only way to put it, headbands. So the ones that are huge and have all these flowers on them or have big cat ears or that kind of thing. The teachers are like, it's distracting in the classroom. So yeah, so that did not change, even though they put in a petition, and it's also very good for them to understand that some things do change because of petition and sometimes it doesn't. So part of it did and part of it didn't. So that would be the answer to let them know. Okay, any other questions for me? I know we're getting short. We need to move to the Fogala meeting.
Is there an update on the bathroom construction?
So yes, first off, we got these great new bathrooms that are like miles above what we had last year. So those of you that are new probably don't realize that, but for those of us that spent a year in the ones that we had last year, are really happy with the flushing water and there's actual sinks where you can wash your hands. It's just amazing to have that difference. So we're really happy with that. But I have also signed off on plans for the actual J building, which they couldn't give me a start date on construction, but the plans are moving forward. And are with, because it's new plans, it's with, I can't remember what the board is, it's out of LAUSD, so it's higher up than that. And as soon as that gets approved, they can start construction. We cross our fingers, hope at a winter break. Don't know for sure, but now that they've done all the water changes for this temporary bathroom, it's gonna be really easy for them to pipe. That's part of why they did the temporary. So good questions. And then also the girls who are in the lab building, they have a bathroom that's for them. That's right across from the classrooms. So that would be the 7th, 9th, and 10th. The 6th graders don't go up to the lab building. And then PE, they're going to start getting their lockers today in PE, and they'll have bathrooms there. So there's several different areas now that they can use as opposed to last year where they just had the portable bathrooms.
For the extracurricular activities that are doing in the school, are they using the lockers that they're getting? Is that where they're going to be putting their uniforms as well, or will we have to be responsible for putting it in their bag?
Oh, for dance?
Like dance or like sports or swimming?
So we also have now a new bungalow for dance, and also right next to it is an athletics office where they'll keep the uniforms and the dance equipment. I know the dance parents are going to put out an ask for cleaning up those 2 bungalows probably in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if anybody's here who can mention that. Okay, well, something is going to go out soon about cleaning those up because those weren't part of our initial new classrooms this year. So now we've got 2 classrooms. One is for our athletics and our 2 PE teachers to have an office. And then the other one is for our dance program specifically. We won't have to share with anyone, which is kind of great.
Somebody on the live stream wants to know where the J buildings will be located.
It's going to be located in that kind of empty area between the 2 bungalows where the English and history teachers are and our main building. Okay. So there's kind of an empty area there now. It looks kind of strange. It's fenced in, but it's kind of strange. Like, why is this there? And that's why it's there.
A question came up, if you have first period PE, can you wear your PE uniform to school instead of your school uniform?
No, because you have advisory first. Advisory is a half an hour and it's instruction.
I have a daughter coming in next year as a 6th grader. I'm currently a 6th grader now. Do I have to attend the open house in September? Or do I just?
I think you can just do the application, and then we do have a sibling policy. So on the application, it has a checkpoint for if you are a sibling, you know, your daughter's a sibling of someone here. I think having 2 daughters and having to go to 2 separate schools for a while, I totally empathize with any family. So we try to do siblings first.
So it's as far as the magnet policy with having a younger daughter coming to the school, it's not guaranteed admission. Is it a points-based policy?
We're not a magnet and we don't do points, so it's just a policy of siblings get first dibs in that class. And last year I think we had maybe 6, so we're not talking huge amounts.
That's so much easier.
Yeah. It's just if they're a sibling, you know, like last year we did have a couple of siblings apply. Last year we had a couple of siblings apply for 9th and 6th, and they both got in. So
Does
you know,
that apply to older siblings too? Like if you have a 7th and then.
Yes, definitely. Good question. Yeah. Well, if you have a 7th and a 9th or 7th and a 10th, yes.
Are they still gonna have to do the same process of the questions?
Yes, the application, absolutely they need to do, and we need to vet their application. So think about who they want to have be their teacher. That we send the email to, but I don't think it's necessary for them to come to the tour because we're gonna have limited spaces on the tour, and we're already we just put it up. Was it last night? And
Yeah, within an hour we had like 50 reservations.
So I'd rather leave that for people who've never seen the school than people who are already familiar and comfortable with the school, that kind of thing.
So like one or 2 more because it's 9.
Okay.
After that.
Someone over here? No.
I was just saying on that note, are you taking transfers for all grades? Like if somebody was at a middle school and let's say they're in 8th grade or 7th grade now?
Oh, so glad you asked that. So next year it'll be 6, 7, 8. No, 6, 7, 6, yeah,
6 through 11.
6 through 11. We'll be taking most of the kids in 6th and 9th because those will be the pretty much open spots. So we'll have 100 in each. And the other will just be filling in. So this year, I think I only took about 10 in each grade level.
But they could apply, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And in fact, the bigger pool we have, the better chance of getting in.
I'm a 6th grade mom, and my daughter's never had an email account, but I know she needs one for here. Do I set her up with one, or does the school provide her with
They
one?
should be setting that up either in their English history core or in their computer class. So yeah, that'll happen. They'll help them set that up.
You had mentioned robotics at the beginning, and just curious about robotics.
We have 2 robotics electives this year. One's a middle school, one's a high school. We are desperate for help to buy the kits that we need to buy for VEX and FIRST robotics. We are planning on doing some competitions with those classes this year, but that is a fundraising ask I'm going to have for Fogala of the parts that we need for them to build. Right now we have old VEX, we have 2 VEX kits, that's it. So we have one for high school and one for middle school, so they're taking that apart and working with it. We have a donated computer that they're starting to take apart, but we definitely need the kits to buy. And I know Mr. Landa is doing the high school and Ms. Twajiri is doing the middle school robotics, and they would be really appreciative if we could get that rolling. And having said that, I'm going to transition to Fogala.
Sorry, in relation to that email, again, like I have a 7th grader, and so is that also going to be set up for 7th graders as well?
Incoming 7th graders can ask their advisory teacher to help them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for showing up.
No.
So the floor over here, if anyone else wants to help sign up for one of the.
Where's the- oh, there.
There'll be a